here's your podcast lineup today from your producer. The breakdown, we'll talk a bit about the game last night in Seattle.
Love the breakdown. Love it.
We will make fun of Terry Ryan for his insane trip to Edmonton. And we will talk about Evander Kane. So that's the lineup. Let's have a good show, everybody.
Thank you.
Good morning and welcome to Got Your Back, folks. Brought to you, as always, by Mr. Dirk, the iconic men's clothing store here in Edmonton. You know, it was founded back in 1939. A guy with the ability to do some tailoring and a dream. Well, you got to check it out. Just off White Avenue and 102nd Street. They got a beautiful new shop. Mr. Dirk, formerly Dirk's, has everything you need for every aspect of your wardrobe. They got a huge lineup of casual clothes, jeans, pants, shirts, sweaters, shoes. And then over on the more formal side, an amazing selection of brand name suits, sport coats, ties. They can do custom fits for you as well. They've got an in-house tailor. Mr. Dirk truly is a one-stop shop for all your clothing needs. And don't forget, they are taking on the monumental task of figuring out the mess that is Jason Strudwick's wardrobe at the encouragement of one Hank Lundqvist.
You are an absolute horrendous dresser. Is this guy blind? I hope you have a great day.
You know what I love about being host of this show, Struddy, is when I start the intro, you have to just sit there quiet and let me get through it, and I can abuse you all I want.
Well, that's one man's opinion about my wardrobe, right? That's one man's opinion. And so, he's an average, slightly above average dresser. I'm not going to get too worked up about it. It's not like he's, someone really good looking.
Zuby, we actually, good morning, Zuby, by the way. We actually got down to Mr. Dirk with Struddy, and he was walking around like a kid in a candy store looking at all the beautiful clothing. And, every combination he would try and go and grab for himself, we would be like, nope, that doesn't match. Nope, that doesn't match. He was having a hard time grabbing combinations that fit. That's the beauty of Mr. Dirk, though, Zuby. They've got someone that can actually color code and number it for you.
Amazing. As long as Hank doesn't start going after my blue hoodie, I think I'm safe down here in the basement in the spare bedroom. But
Hank's never worn a hoodie in his life, Zoobs. So you and I both have it on. We're both attractive men. Don't let him give us.
Would he ever how did he dress on the bus and stuff, Struds? Like, would he ever dress it down at all, or was he always just bringing the thunder?
Not that I remember. I just remember on the plane, he would leave his suit coat on. So the rest of us would gear down. I would gear down to shorts and t-shirt, and he would leave his suit coat on with it buttoned up. And I'm like, why? Why you just played more than any of us tonight, and you never get comfortable. So I don't know. That's what I remember. Maybe he had some kind of Prada gym shorts he put on. I don't know, but I don't remember seeing it.
And how often would he go shopping on the road? Was that a common occurrence? Did you ever shop with the man?
No, there's no chance. There's the last thing I wanted to do was go shopping with Henrik Lundqvist. Like, what are you going to do? He's just a skinny little guy putting these clothes on. I'm like, I think he must have. New York's a pretty good place to shop. I'm not sure why I'd go shopping anywhere else.
Huh. Are you an efficient shopper, Zuby? Like, I feel like you're probably pretty quick with it, eh? I mean, how hard is it to walk in, grab the first blue hoodie you see and walk out?
Different shade.
That is efficient. Yeah, I just match it up to my eyes. If it brings out my eyes, I buy it. If not, the $10 goes back in my wallet. And I save it for another one. I'm a good shopper, actually. I've been, my brother-in-law hates it. Can't even go to the mall. He's like almost like a kid gets in a store and is like, "Oh, how long are we going to be here?"
Yeah, my back hurts.
He's a little bit like that. I'm a good shopper. I'm a good wingman for shopping.
Yeah,
and I'm a good shopper for myself. I get it done, but probably not at the level that say a Henrik Lundqvist might shop. Mr. Dirk may be in my wheelhouse. That's where I'd like to step up to.
Yeah, we had lots of fun at Mr. Dirk, and part 2 of that promo will be coming out soon, so people will have a chance to experience watching Jason Strudwick like a bull in a china shop, smashing around looking for things that fit and matched, and it was good. Hey, Struddy?
People are going to be ready for that. There's a great response to part 1.
Yeah, they loved it. Well, they love seeing other people being torn down, right? That's what people love to see.
Yeah. It's like watching Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Hey, Zuby, are you hearing that echo? I'm calling you out right on air here. Is there an echo? Check, 1, 2. Oh, see, did you guys hear that? Is that there? 1, 2, 1, 2.
Yeah, there is an echo. We might have to pause because I think that's coming through on Struddy's. Last time I think we had to
Struds. You
I
have
had
been
to echo cancellation him and no, I have to flip something here, but you can't flip it while you're recording.
Oh, you can't. So we're actually going to have to edit.
pause.
We don't edit here on Got Your Back. So, but I guess you can't do it on the fly, eh? So we got to just shut this down and start it up again.
I tried, yeah.
All right, Struddy, just FYI, this one's on you, bud.
I didn't even know what was going on. I don't hear anything.
You don't hear the echo?
Did we start yet? I didn't even know we started.
This is rehearsal.
All right, the first ever edit on Got Your Back coming down in 3, 2, 1, edit. And we're back. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Is the echo gone, Zuby?
It's gone.
The echo is gone.
Yeah,
that's a quick fix.
That's why you have me as your technical producer or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Nailed it.
That's the job of a technical producer. Start the show, and if anything's wrong, stop the show and make us. Sure. We're not redoing anything though. We're picking up right where we left off.
It's been such a good read and everything. It's not bad. Yeah. No one will even notice that echo. Just us.
Struds would like to start again because he feels the content has been hard on him so far. Hey,
no, it's fine. No one ever punches down. Everyone always punches up, right? So when you're getting hit from the bottom, you know where you are on the totem pole.
That's more than fair. Okay, today on the program today, we're going to talk about the Oilers game last night in Seattle. We'll be kind of brief with that exhibition game. Feed was a little choppy for me. Not blaming the Oilers, just saying. Maybe my internet. I want to talk about Evander Kane, so we're going to dig into that. What is a reasonable goal projection for Evander Kane this season? We'll dive into that, and then also TR's takeaways, the one, the only, Terry Ryan is going to hop in. Did you guys see the mayhem that ensued when Terry Ryan came to town for like 4 days this last weekend? Did you see any of it on social media, Struds?
I did.
You might have just been able to hear him if you stuck your head out your window.
Yeah, he is a party of one that brings a lot of thunder, and let's not forget his buddy Tran Sandwith, who also is a fun guy. So, they came here to have a good time, and TR reached his goal.
Yeah. Oh, well, listen, I'm just going to give you a snippet of this. Yep, Sorrentino's on a Thursday night, ladies and gentlemen. Terry Ryan found a reason to get up and sing. And the ridiculous vehicle that he was driving around in while he was here, like just ridiculous. Yeah. Anyways, we'll get into that a little bit later on with TR. Zuby, we'll check in with you. Go double check things while we're working on the rest of the pod here. No more mistakes, buddy.
I'm on it.
Okay. Apparently he already was. All right, time for the breakdown, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. Of course, they've got locations in Calgary and Edmonton. DLR Vinyl Products provides amazing, beautiful, maintenance-free fencing and decking products. If you don't ever want to have to worry about staining a fence again or stripping a deck, go with maintenance-free vinyl products from DLR Vinyl. It's absolutely worth the investment putting this stuff in. I've got it in my backyard. It's my family company, right? So I've completely abused my brothers. They've built like 2 decks and a couple of fences for me, Struddy. I'm not even working at the business, and I have by far the most vinyl in the family. I feel like that's me taking advantage of the family, I would say.
I love it. It looks good.
Okay, so let's break this down. Seattle last night. Like I said, we're not going to get too deep into this. I want to talk about Broberg and Niemelainen. I would say in the first exhibition game, Niemelainen established himself, made a little bit of noise, was banging around, did a good job. I thought last night he was still hitting, still showed that intention to hit, but maybe didn't do as good a job handling the puck. I thought Broberg had the better night than he did last night, Struds.
Mm-hmm. So looking at these 2 young players, I think the first thing we have to talk about is the quality of competition you're playing against in preseason. As we move through, games 1 to 8, that'll improve as we go. So you need to have, like I always felt when I started the season or started my preseason, I wanted to play well early and really have an impact on the game because it was going to get hard for me to do that as it went on. So I think when you talk about Niemelainen and his play, the first game, I think he was impactful. He was, being physical. And then from what I saw last night, it gets a little bit hard. They had a more NHL lineup. Seattle did, right? They had like some more high end players, so it's a little bit harder to get those hits. Guys are more aware out there and make plays. Broberg, I love the fact that he added some weight this offseason. I think that'll help him in the contested area of the ice, front of the net, corners, wall play, all that stuff. That's a big part of what the game's all about. But for both these guys, it's about each game. You get your level up to a certain point, and you want to try to keep it there, because the reality is it's going to get harder and harder to impress as you go. So, Niemelainen, I think you're talking about a guy to work on his puck handling, no doubt. And as a big guy, he's never going to be wheeling and dealing around the ice like Barrie, but he's got to remember what his core thing is and to find the easiest way and the simplest way to move the puck. Less handling is better for Niemelainen rather than overhandling.
Yeah, I think improving his puck skills was absolutely critical. And I know they had him working on it a lot in the offseason, because for a big guy like that, Struddy, he moves really well. And when you combine that speed, and I'll use the word speed, I think he moves really well for a big guy, with that intention to train wreck people every chance he gets. That is a unique combination that does not come packaged in very many players nowadays. And so as those puck skills improve, I'm not saying he's going to challenge Broberg for a spot on the opening night roster. I believe it's Broberg's to lose, but I think Niemelainen has the opportunity to work himself into the conversation for being like the next guy. And so last night, I don't think he handled the puck quite as well last night, but improving those puck skills for that big guy, to me, makes a difference between potentially a real good, solid NHL career, because I think the rest of it's there.
Yeah, I love the way you frame that. And quite frankly, the puck skills are something you can work on daily. Even if you are tired, you can still work on daily. So there needs to be a conversation between the Oilers, coaching staff, like a guy like Dave Pelche, Mark Stewart, now kind of that eye in the sky. What do we need Nemo? I think they call him. What do they need him to do daily? There needs to be some off ice train, like stick handling. There needs to be a program before or after practice that he follows every day. And that's an every day. And the thing is, it doesn't take a lot of energy. If you want to work on shooting, that can take quite a bit of energy. Forechecking, that takes a lot of energy. But stick handling, luckily, a little program of 10 to 12, 15 minutes every day, you notice a huge difference. So to build off what he's done this summer, it doesn't stop because you're in training camp. It's got to continue on and on. Like, I used to do it stick handling a golf ball. I do it every day for 5-10 minutes every day. And other guys would do the same thing. I saw good players doing it. So I'm like, if the good players are doing it, a bad player should probably do it as well. So that's got to be a program that they have to set up, and he has to stick to it. And it's very, very improvable. Now, he's not going to get up to Connor McDavid, but he can definitely improve on his own skills.
One of the most interesting players in the Oilers organization, I think, is Markus Niemelainen. Decent night for Broberg, 22 minutes, 18 seconds, 3 shots, 5 attempts, a couple of block shots as well. So good start for him after from what I understand, because I wasn't there, but what I understand was a more quiet rookie camp. A decent start for him last night. We'll continue to keep an eye on him, especially as competition picks up. Okay, let's move on from the exhibition game. A bigger topic today. I wanted to ask you about Evander Kane. So we were sitting up watching practice yesterday, and Gregor and I think Reed Wilkins, was it Reed? Anyway, it doesn't matter. A few of us media guys were batting around the idea. How many goals are realistic for Evander Kane this upcoming season? Struds, you give me your total first. What do you think from Evander Kane this year?
He's never scored more than 30. And now he's been on pace for more than 30. But, I was also on pace for like 7 goals one year, and it didn't quite happen. So there's actual on pace and actual goal scoring. He came here and he was on fire, absolutely on fire. I think he's around a 37, 38 goal scorer. And a couple of reasons. One, I'm not sure he's going to be able to score like he did last year. Now, I'm not talking playoffs. Playoffs are a whole different animal. I would not count those in any kind of calculations I'm doing. How much power play time does he get?
Lots.
And then also, how much does Connor McDavid want to score, or how much does Connor McDavid want to pass? Does Connor want 50? So with all that, I think I'm going high 30s. What do you got, Shogger?
I'm going 42. I think he breaks the 40-goal plateau this year. I think for the first time for a full season, I think he's going to play with McDavid pretty much most of the year. I think it's a good match. I think they like playing together. I think McDavid wants to play with him. So I think they're going to play together. I think he's going to get tons of power play time. I think he's distinguished himself in that way. I think he just gets so much from the interior. Like, he's just so willing to go wherever he needs to go to get goals. And that question about McDavid, I love that you brought that up because, McDavid just watched Matthews blow the doors off, win the Hart Trophy with 60, right? We all just watched that. So is there a part of Connor McDavid that's like, man, I'm going to fire this goal scoring thing up. I'm going to set my sights on 50 goals and I'm getting there this year, right? Is McDavid going to come back with that mindset? I don't think so. I think McDavid is going to look at what he has around him and he wants to win, right? I don't think he's about personal accolades at this point. And when you put a guy like Evander Kane with him, I could see McDavid more being like looking next to him and going, yeah, let's get this guy 45 and going into Connor McDavid's setup machine maniac, because that is what will give his team the best chance to win, is with Evander Kane piling the goals in. So I love the point you made about what will McDavid's goal scoring mindset be this year. I think he's going to look to his left and realize the goal scoring prowess there, and he's going to, build that out for all that it can be. So I'm going 42. He was on pace for 42, I think, last season, right? 22 in the 43 games that he played.
Right. That was a very motivated, very excited on a hot streak team. He was shooting really well. Then he rolled into playoffs and he was absolutely just destroying it. So maybe he can keep it up, maybe he can keep that level up. And I hope he does. Listen, I hope he does. And I've had some conversation with people think he can get 50. And I don't think 50 is coming. I don't see that, because you have to remember, I don't think he gets all the power play time. I'm not quite as high on it. I think Zach Hyman gets power play time as well. I think you're going to want to keep that guy's beak wet, as I like to say. So if they're splitting it, that's a lot less power play time. Like who is the staples on it? Barry, McDavid, Nuge, and Draisaitl. Then who are the other guys? Is it Kane? Is it Hyman? Is it Puljujarvi for Dustin Nielsen? Like, do those three guys get split that power play time, or the top two guys split it? So, you're starting. I don't know that he's getting all that power play time. I don't think he's a lock to get it all the time. He'll get it, but not all the time.
I think we'll still see 2 units loaded up. I don't think we'll see a ton of first unit, second unit. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll try and spread it around a little bit. Jay Woodcroft did try and do that at times. Remember, he would start his second unit every now and then, just kind of send a signal if the first unit wasn't snapping it around. He wouldn't be afraid to message send to those guys a little bit. But I think Kane will get lots of power play time. Playing with Connor McDavid, I think, gets him to 42. You've got 37. It's going to be fun to watch, that's for sure. Another thing I wanted to ask you about, Strud. So watching practice, and 2 practices in a row, and I sent the video to Zuby, so we should be able to roll it in right here. So for people who are watching the podcast, and by the way, it's available to watch on YouTube. Go there now. He does this thing at the end of practices, and I love it. I think it's great. He'll just start prowling around, and he'll go over and he'll shove a guy, and then put his glove up into his face and give him a couple of shots, and they're laughing, and they start a little wrestling match. They're like a couple of bear cubs, right? But he's picking interesting people to do it with. So yesterday I tweeted a video. Who's he doing it with? Ryan McLeod. He goes up to Ryan McLeod and he's pushing and shoving and they're goofing off and he's giving him little taps and stuff and little rib shots, and McLeod's sort of trying to engage, and then Demers comes over and jumps in. This stuff goes on at practice all the time, but I am noticing with Evander Kane, it's happened multiple times. There was another time, who did he do it with? Went and started pushing and shoving and goofing around with Markus Niemelainen. These are players who, are being dragged into the fight by Evander Kane, right? He's a guy that wants to drag his teammates into the fight with him. And I think it's kind of by design. I asked him about it and he said, yeah, it's good. Just get roughhousing a little bit, make things. He goes and does this at the end of practices every now and then, Struds. I think it's great.
Yeah. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to get guys to feel comfortable in their uncomfortable positions, right? Because I think you also did it with Puljujarvi one day. I think I saw your video.
Yeah.
So the idea is that, there's going to be scrums. And if you never practice being in scrum, you'll never know what it's like and how to push and shove guys. And I remember one of my first years in NHL, I don't know how it happened, but this guy, Murray Barron, Todd Bertuzzi, Donald Brashear, and myself, we all of a sudden would have one puck in the corner, and it was a mosh pit. And the four of us would go in there, and it was like whoever survived came out with the puck. And it was crazy. That was over 1,000 pounds of man in there, banging away, hitting each other. And there was like punches. It was an absolute crazy. But I got into a game, and now a little different time. There's no doubt about it. But when I got into a game and I was going against Eric Lindros or Jerome McGinley, it was nothing. I had just survived a mosh pit with these three killers. And it was great. And then even for a guy like Bertuzzi, he learned how to battle against big guys. And so what Kane's trying to do, I think, is he's trying to get guys feeling comfortable in that moment and understanding what it's like to shove or push or whatever, and understand that, like, yeah, Kane, he's really good at it, but he's only human. So if you can push on him, there's pretty much no one in the league you're really worried about. Like, who else is really that much tougher than Kane? Maybe Reeves or maybe Lucic and those, like. But Kane he's an alpha male. He crawls around. He wants everyone to know who's in charge. And I love that those guys are trying to stand up and push back and understand that it's okay to push back.
Yeah. Well, McLeod didn't push back that much. He sort of got like shoved over the boards, but he did try. Anyway, important to note, it's all good natured. It's all fun. And I bring it up because I've noticed it 2 or 3 different times. I took video of it a couple of times. And when Evander Kane arrived last year, he wanted to increase the emotional and physical investment level of the people around him. I think he got here. I'll put words in his mouth here a little bit. I think he got here, looked around and thought, we need more guys that are in the fight in different ways. And we watched him bring that out in more players last year. And I think we're watching him continue to do that. So it was just notable to me. Okay, that was the breakdown brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. Coming up on the other side of the break here, yeah, this guy, Terry Ryan, painting the town of Edmonton absolutely red last week. We're going to check in with TR about his Alberta adventure with TR's takeaways. You're listening to Got Your Back, presented by Mr. Dirk. Checking in with Sterling Dirk inside the beautiful Mr. Dirk shop. People ask me all the time, who is the Mr. Dirk, Sterling? I know it's not you. Who's the original?
So my grandfather was a tailor, and he came over to Canada in 1940s, opened his freestanding shop in 1965. So Mr. Dirk's an ode to my grandfather. He was a tailor, and we keep that ethos of like quality service and community embedded in our store every day. So if you come in, you walk in, you're gonna get a friendly face, a smile, and we're gonna get you suited up, head to toe. Get you some jeans, shoes, whatever you need. We got you covered.
1939 is on the emblem, and it means something. Truly local. MrDirk.com is where you can see all of their merchandise, or visit them in store right off White Avenue and 102nd Street. All right, time for TR's takeaways, brought to you by Sherwood Buick GMC, just off Baseline Road on the way into Sherwood Park. It's a massive, beautiful showroom. The #1 GMC dealership in all of Canada for 5 years running. I just bought a truck there. Easiest car buying process I have ever been through. Checking in with TR, who has made his way safely back to the East Coast after a weekend and a week of mayhem, TR. I'm just going to let you breathe and just listen to this. Here we go. Johnny be good. Terry be good in Edmonton, buddy. How was your trip?
Great. At a restaurant, nonetheless. I mean, you never know when you're going to break out into song, but you don't think it's going to be after tortellini rosé. You know what I mean?
That was Sorrentino's at like 6:30 p.m., TR. It was so funny, Struddy, because, and by the way, Struds, I'll have to tell you this story because you weren't there, which was a theme for the weekend. Hey, TR?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, Struds, I'm sure, was busy again. He couldn't make it out for 3 minutes. Shogmeister Flash is driving all over town. He's meeting me we're having beers, we're just going for drives, we're having coffees, reflecting on the past. Struds was somewhere. You were with us somewhere. You were out in we could feel your aura.
Yeah. No, listen, I get it. Like I have a busy life. I had Citadel tickets. I got kids sports. I got other things I got going. I mean, every night there was an activity. I can't just drop everything at in one moment. It's like
fair enough. Everything, no, but I mean, once in a while, maybe hang out with the boys on the pod.
Like maybe just drop one thing. You don't have to drop everything. I mean, we didn't need you to come and stay with us for 4 days, but like it was, you missed out on a podcast bonding experience.
I know why. I'm sorry I did, but it's good for you two guys to bond. I thought there was a little bit of a friction between you two guys last year, and now that's been healed.
Yeah, you know what? I think it goes back to 1996 and Game 5 in the playoffs. I think TR is where the friction was coming from when the Kamloops Blazers defeated the Tri-City Americans, if I recall.
Now see what you did. Now you flipped it around. Now I'm the outsider again. A couple of Kamloops Blazers here from the mid-'90s figured you'd flip it around again. Unbelievable. What do I have to do? Do I have to drive a car nicer than a 23 Corvette to get some respect around here?
Okay, so let's talk about, we'll just start there. So Phil over at Sherwood Buick GMC happened to be sponsors of this great segment, TR's Takeaways. Just off Baseline Road on the way into Sherwood Park, Sherwood Buick GMC. Phil over at Sherwood Buick GMC. I texted him. I said, hey, TR's coming to town. He's got a great charity event he's going to do some work on, a ball hockey tournament for Alzheimer's. So he's going to be in town. Maybe I'll bring him by the dealership. And Phil's like, yeah, we'll hook him up with a set of wheels. Maybe he can come in, experience a dealership, drive one of our vehicles. So when you're doing the podcast, he can talk knowledgeably about it. TR, take it from there. Your driving experience with Sherwood Buick GMC.
Well, I didn't think about what car I was going to drive. I just needed some wheels when I was out there. So Phil said, hey, you know what? Do you want to have some fun, or what do you want? Do you want a truck? Or do you need to carry things around? What are you doing? I said, well, no, I need to get point A to point B, and of course I like to have fun, like whatever you want to sub in there. So anyway, I showed up. I thought he was kidding when he mentioned it before I went there. I really honestly thought he was kidding. But it was a brand new 2023 Corvette convertible, 200 kilometers on it. It was incredible. I drove it like so. The first day, I'd stay with my buddy Turan, the Sandman Sandwich. So I'm driving around. I took it around Anthony Head Day a couple of times, just to let it breathe a little bit. Anyway, I had a great time, pumped the tunes, forgot about my phone. This day and age, when you forget about your phone for a half hour, it's a good thing. I just pumped the tunes. Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up. Cruising down Anthony Henday. I get to Sandman's. Okay, so I'm trying to figure this out. All I know how to do is put the top up and down. I mean, other than drive the car, because there's so many buttons and everything. So I can't get the door open. I'm there to meet his friend to let me in his apartment and give me a key. And I can't get the door open. And then I'm thinking, okay.
Like you couldn't get out of the car.
Part down again, and I was going to pull a Dukes of Hazzard. And as I'm trying to climb out the door, I hit a button and the door opened. It was a little tiny button, smaller than my fingernail. No pull, no pulley, no pushy. Anyway, it was a little bit different. It was like a spaceship, but I had a great time.
Yeah. Now, after you parked at the apartment, did you drive it again, or are you just, because it sounds like you were in one the whole weekend?
Yeah, no. Right in the morning, I went for my drives in the morning.
I was trying to get a hold of him.
It actually took me 15 minutes to get. I'm not joking. There, it took me 15 minutes to find the door to get open. Now after that, it was all right. I visited my buddy Mark Hurley. He used to play on the Tri-City Americans. There we go.
Yeah.
And we had a bite to eat at Original Joe's. Went for a cruise. Yeah, I took it for a few cruises on the weekend. It was too nice a car not to drive.
Yeah, I was trying to get a hold of him, Struds, because I knew he was in town. So I was texting him, and he's pretty good at getting back. But it was like a good 45 minutes or an hour before he got back to me. And I found out after it's just because he was just doing laps on the Henday in his Corvette. Welcome to Edmonton, Terry Ryan.
It was next level. It was a lot of fun. I had a Corvette for a brief spell in the late 90s. After each one of these, you're going to piece together the puzzles of how I went broke 4 years after I signed for over $1 million. But anyway, yeah, that's one of the pieces. I loved it, but this wasn't even close. It wasn't in the same stratosphere.
What's the biggest piece
car I've ever driven?
What's the biggest piece of those pieces, TR?
Oh God, I don't know. That's another.
We don't
segment.
have time.
That's another takeaway for that's two back-to-back jacks. That one.
All right, we'll dive into that a different day. Struddy and I were just having the conversation about Evander Kane and kind of the number of goals we think that might be doable for him this season. So he was on pace for 42 last year. Tr. He was on pace for 32 the year before when he was in San Jose. Had a pretty 22 and 56. Probably going to play with McDavid all year. So what number would you lob out there as your takeaway today on Evander Kane's goal scoring potential? You be the final word. Struds was 37. I was 42.
It's a great question. I had this exact discussion with one of my buddies the other day, and I landed on 35. You got to take in injuries. You don't really know. You said probably with McDavid all year. Probably not. You mean who knows what's going to happen? There's might be injuries. So you got to factor that in. I think 35 would be a safe number. I mean, I know it's expecting a lot, but he seems to have done it the last couple of years. He can do it. He's playing with a great team. He's going to get all kinds of offensive opportunities. But, I hate setting the bar too high. And the reason I say that is because I want him to do well. I'm a fan now. He came back. He rebounded. I wasn't before. But I like second chances. And he seems that he's really earned it, I guess, fifth chances. But seems like this guy came to play last year, is serious about it, stayed out of the news for all the wrong reasons, so I'm all about it. But 35 is my guess.
Struddy, do you think he'll have the year that, it was a show-me year last year. Mm-hmm. Do you think that was kind of like best behavior year, do the best you can, get the contract, and, how much risk is there that there's a drop-off or things change because of the comfort of a 4-year deal?
Well, there's always risk. And I think that, past behavior or whether it's him or it was the other group, whatever, there was friction from the previous club. So there's risk for sure. There's risk. Those conversations didn't happen. The Oilers signed Warren Fogle or they signed Tyson Barrie. So, for him, everything is lined up for him to have a career year. And maybe he's the type, I mentioned that there's a McDavid factor, but maybe Kane wants to get 40 goals. Maybe that's his goal. He wants to come out and he's going to play his ass off to get to that number, that 40. I don't think 50 is doable, but 40, I think is if that's what he wants to do, maybe he has that in his mind. But there is risk. But for the Oilers, you have to accept that risk, and because he can be such a huge part of your group, both what he does with the puck, without the puck, how he intimidates. So, and I kind of talked about it earlier, TR, but I think that McDavid's also a wild card in this. If McDavid decides he wants to score 50 goals, he's scoring 50. That means less passes to number 91 on his wing.
Yeah, that's a good point. What you got stirring the drink there is the best player in the world, right? So we can speculate, but he's going to drive that car as much as any outside factor than Evander Kane himself. That's a great point. Mm-hmm. And of course, he's in the prime of his career. Only seems like he's still going up. I saw some video. He looks faster, if that's possible. So, yeah, you're talking about Connor McDavid. I mean, he could get over 50. I mean, you really never know. This is a guy. Evander Kane's also in unbelievable shape, or has been. If there's one thing that stayed consistent in my mind, I don't think he's ever been criticized for that. So, or maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. Nope. So you've got that going for him as well. A young man in fantastic shape playing on an offensive team with one of the best players to ever play the game. I think I said 35. I literally bet on it. But, if I had to get, if I had to be, I'd err on the side of more goals. I think 35 might be low.
Yeah. 35, 37, and 42 for this guy. We'll check back in at the end of the year, and I will remind you guys when I am right about this one. TR, you had a chance to come to the Oilers' first exhibition game. You saw it in person. Quickly, I want your takeaways, your impressions on two things. One, the building and atmosphere, and two, Dylan Holloway.
Oh, I thought Holloway looked good, better than I thought he was going to look. Then again, half the ice have never played in the NHL before. Some exhibition games have a lot of vets. That exhibition game had a lot of younger players, a lot of guys getting a taste. But still, it's the National Hockey League. It's some of the best players on earth, and I thought Holloway looked real good. The atmosphere was second to none. The fans get the first. That was exhibition. That felt like playoffs in some other rinks. It was fantastic to see. Now, for me, and my viewpoint, I'd never seen Rogers Place. Okay, I've never been. I came out a couple times. Games were canceled, or it was the summertime. But in my experience, I've never even seen the rink. So it was fantastic. I was blown away by that, and it was. We're getting off topic, but I talked to a lot of fans at the game too when I was leaving, Ryan, and fans seemed really optimistic. They came over to say hi, whether it was they knew that I'd be doing Got Your Back, and they knew I was in Edmonton. Like I said, I played in the Western League, so there's a lot of people that I know out around here. But Oilers fans are pumped. I don't know if I've seen them that excited in a long time. What else did I like? I like Skinner seemed really poised. I thought McLeod looked great, but I thought he would anyway. Any other huge takeaway? I'm not sure. It's escaping my mind. Shoots left, bad skater, but good hands. He played okay, but I think it might catch up to him. Not Matt. What's his name? Number 16.
Tyler Benson. Yeah,
Benson. Thought he had a good game, but I looked at his stats and I read about him a little bit, and it seems that maybe when the competition gets a lot faster, maybe it's his skating, but he did look pretty good out there. Puljujarvi, at times, every time I see that guy play, it seems like he's going to just break out and hit everything that moves and score 4 goals. I don't know what it is. I can see why he went so high, because if I watch that guy play, he stands out to me. But he often does a whole lot of nothing, but I don't care. I'm going to stick with it. I think he's going to have a better year. I do. He looks good out there.
Drop the mic on that thought, and most of the city will love you, TR. There were 1 or 2 players that he didn't mention there, Strud. Should we get him to just finish the whole roster? Or
a couple of guys that took warm-up?
You asked me what I took away from it. I'll tell you,
you know
what? I can't end without saying this, though. For anybody out there that's going to an NHL camp or a junior camp, you got to finish your hit. The one thing I noticed is that a lot of guys in that game are rookies looking for a spot, and I don't know, a D gets it coming out of his own end and goes high off the glass. Just finish it. You don't have to maim the person. Just finish it. I can't stand seeing that. And it happens. I'm like, it's NHL exhibition. It's hard. You can't make yourself go out and make a good move and go around somebody. But you can say in my head, I'm going to go and finish 5 hits. Or at least I'm going to finish the hits that when someone's standing right in front of me. I don't have to run them through the boards, but I know I'm old school, WHL and everything, but I mean, come on. Just finish your hits. That's my big takeaways. There you go.
I'm right there with you, buddy, on the hitting thing. Struddy, when was the last time you were at the West Edmonton Mall Water Park?
Oh, I don't know. 5-10 years. I've taken my kids a few times, right? Speedo in tow and wheel in there. Why? Did TR go?
Oh, well, I thought the people of Edmonton might appreciate this, TR. In 90 seconds or less, actually, let's say 60 seconds or less, because you'll go 4 minutes if I say 60 seconds.
True.
In 60 seconds or less, give me your take on the West Edmonton Mall Water Park, Terry Ryan.
I absolutely love the West Edmonton Mall. Every single time I'm at the West Edmonton, every single time other than this particular time because I ran out of time, I love going to the West Edmonton Mall. I make a day out of it. I go early. I played a little bit of mini golf. I go to a movie. Then I go over and I go to Adventureland. Then I go to a movie. And then I wind it down with a vacation in the sunshine on the beach. Every single time I take at least 1 full day. And if I have time in an ideal situation, I go over and I stay in one of the rooms at the hotel. One time I stayed in the Elvis room, and it was one of the best weekends I've ever had in my life.
Jeez, you are something.
Oh, my goodness.
Where do you park the Corvette? Well, that's going on. Is that?
It's right there. I always park outside of Bourbon Street, of course, to get a bite to eat at Old Spaghetti Factory on the way through. I absolutely love the West Edmonton Mall. I've used it I've gone there for the weekend as if I'm going to Florida. I know you guys are there and you're desensitized, but I mean, it's the middle of the winter. You don't want to go sit on the beach.
People in Edmonton, lots of them will agree with you on Puljujarvi. Lots will disagree on West Edmonton Mall, but we love the fact that you came and spent some time, TR. Fantastic TR's takeaway segment today. Terry Ryan bringing the heat on his 4-day epic adventure through Edmonton. Boys, thanks for doing this. We'll check in a couple of days, all right?
See you guys then.
Sounds good. Right. We'll see you soon.
Oh my God.
Go!
The energy is not unlike the energy in Rogers Place on game day.
Good energy up there on stage, TR.
I know what I'm doing.
Hey, Struddy, question for you. Have you ever tried putting in your own fence?
I sure have. Between digging the posts, mixing up cement and digging the holes is absolute killer.
It's brutal on the back. Well, listen, what if I told you could put in a fence without having to dig a hole or mix any concrete?
I'd be much more likely to come over and help you out.
Yeah, well, you're not the first guy I would call, but thank you for that. Listen, my brother's company, DLR Vinyl Products, they've come up with a system where you can actually put high-quality vinyl fence in the ground without having to dig a hole, without having to mix any concrete. They can teach do-it-yourselfers how to do it, and they can also work with contractors who might be looking to start installing vinyl. It's super high-quality product. The great thing about it is that it has fantastic longevity. You put it in, you don't have to worry about staining or sanding or anything like that. I've been lucky enough, Struddy. They've put in multiple fences in my different yards and they've built me 3 decks. I have totally abused the fact that my family is in the fencing and decking business, but it's great product. Give Rob a call in Calgary or Rick a call here in Edmonton. This is a company my dad started. It's a family business. I'm super proud of it. That's DLR Vinyl Products in Edmonton and Calgary. Holy smokes, what an absolutely epic weekend it was, Zuby, with Terry Ryan here in town. We actually spent a fair amount of time together. We had a really good time, and it was awesome. You know, I know TR pretty well, but it was really good. It was the first time we actually got to hang out together like that. We had a couple of real good nights, a couple of nice meals. But man, and people, like, I don't want to say surprised, but because he's on Shoresy and everything, but like everywhere he went, people were wanting pictures and coming up to talk to him and stuff like that. He's just like larger than life staggering around Edmonton.
Oh my gosh. It's crazy. Watching at a distance, I'm pretty jealous because it seemed like you guys had a lot of fun. How did you guys were WHL adversaries. Yeah. Did you know each other at that time? Were you guys friendly at that time?
No, not at all. Like I didn't know him at all. Played against each other in the Western League. I mean, I watched him play. Let's be honest. I sat on the bench watching him and Jerome skate around, or in the press box eating popcorn. But no, we played against them. We beat them in the playoffs in a 5-game series. He's going to love that I'm mentioning this for the second time in one podcast, Game 5. But no, we didn't become buddies until after the fact. But he, tons of fun. And he was in town for a real nice charity event, a ball hockey game, raising money for Alzheimer's, which was awesome. So, yeah, lots of fun. And TR's Takeaways will be a regular segment that we have here on the podcast all year. I have to tell you, man, I'm pretty excited about tomorrow. We got our new venture starting. Got Your Back NHL with Pierre Lebrun. You are going to be along for that ride as well. A little bigger picture, though, right? We're going to a little more league-wide. We're going to hit on all the topics going on around the league. I'm pretty fired up. How's it coming? Like, you're in charge of putting it together, the production, the look, and everything?
Oh, I'm in charge? Oh, gee, I better get started on that then.
Yeah, right.
It's going to look great. It's going to fall right in line with our branding. Take it up a little bit, and it's going to be fabulous. People are going to be, I think they're going to be excited. We're going to go coast to coast to coast.
Yeah, it'll be good. Now, are you going to be able to execute that one without any sort of distracting echoes that make us have to restart and stop and start? Like,
no, there's a button I press on my computer that it indicates that the budget is a little bit higher, and it just immediately removes all echoes. I don't press
the budget
that
is higher. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, that'll be lots of fun. And just so people know, it's going to be a 3-way conversation each week. Well, 4-way, because Zuby will be there. But Pierre and I are going to have a guest join us each week to talk about all of the big things happening in the National Hockey League. And we got a great cast. Pierre Lebrun, myself, and Ray Ferraro will be our opening episode. Cheryl Pounder will join us at least once a month. Darren Drager will join us as well. And then that 4th spot, we're going to rotate in some other voices. Another thing we're going to do on the pod, we're going to go a little bit old school, little editorial style old school. A classic, like 60 to 120 second editorial from a veteran scribe, a person who's been around the league for a really long time. Scott Burnside is going to be contributing those segments, as well as Arpon Basu, our great friend from The Athletic. So going to be some strong opinion, lots of NHL talk, great voices, good friends. It's going to be once a week, and it's going to drop on Wednesday morning, and that begins tomorrow. We're so excited. So, can't wait to get that thing going. And Zuby, you're going to be cramming overnight to make sure that the echoes are gone and everything looks nice and tight.
That's the plan. I don't sleep anyway, so why start now? I'll make sure that I'll run an all-nighter to on echo removal.
There you go. All right, pal. We'll see you first thing bright and early tomorrow morning, and we will talk to you tomorrow as well on Wednesday. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Lots of fun with TR. And a big thanks to all of our sponsors, as always. So proud to have Mr. Dirk on this season as our title sponsor. DLR Vinyl Products, my brother's company with locations in Calgary and Edmonton, and then Sherwood Buick GMC. What were you thinking giving Terry Ryan a vet? Although I do have to say, I drove it with him, and I don't know that we went over 100 kilometers an hour. He was very, very careful with it, if you can believe that. Lots of fun here, folks. Thanks so much for your downloads and your support. Check out Got Your Back, LeBrun and Rishaug launching Wednesday morning. We will talk to you real soon. Have yourselves a fantastic day.
We got new theme music.
This might be our new theme song.
It's really good.
At least for his segment. He hits the chorus hard. Hey, listen to this.
You got good audio of it.
Yeah. I was stunned. I asked him if he could sing, and he was like, a little bit. And then he goes up there and does that.